Welcome. Today we will talk about the Mage Knight campaign that I've been planning for the last several months. So what happened to the Mage Knight world? What if we could continue the story? The battles, the adventure, the triumphs, and the defeats. What if each of us had a part to play in continuing that story? The Atlantis Guild, the Black Powder Rebels, the Orgrators, the Necropolis Sect, the Knights Immortal, and the Elemental League, the 6 main factions of Mage Knight. What part could we play in their future? Welcome to the Mage Knight campaign. This campaign, I will be playing solo games and collecting their results. Additional battle reports are welcome. Polls will be available to determine what happens to the factions. This is mainly going to deal with the 6 main factions. The Apocalypse, Draconum, Shift, and Solinari will ally to benefit their own goals. But the main thrust of this campaign will be the 6 factions. Another thing to keep in mind is we're going to be doing theme builds, casual builds. We're not going to try to play super competitive, streamlined builds. I also want to make this an opportunity to showcase models that maybe aren't played in a purely competitive sense. So how is it going to work? So we will break up each round into years. An equal number of points will be played by all 6 factions over several games. So just when we say an equal number of points, that doesn't mean an equal number of battles. So an example year for the Knights Immortal could mean one 500-point battle, a 300-point, and a 200-point. That over 3 games equaling 1,000 points played. While the Necropolis set could only play 2 battles, but one of them is a 700-point game, while the other a 300-point game. The other thing to keep in mind in this campaign is that based on the scenario, there can be unequal points. All the games will be scenarios rather than kill. Some of the scenarios we'll be doing is assassination missions, getting a model to the opponent's edge of the board, basically an escape, to destroy an object or building, control table quarters, control objectives, capture an object and escape, etc. Scenarios will be developed not just for myself, but also the community. Victory points will determine the story. So, how do victory points work? The winner gains a number of victory points equal to the total battle points played divided by 100. So a 500-point game would add 5 victory points to the winner. But victory points aren't just gained, they're also lost. That same 500-point game would also subtract 5 victory points from the loser. At the end of the year, we will progress the storyline, and we will use the following chart based in victory points. Each faction will look at the number of victory points they've gained and lost. If it's -10 or greater, then a disastrous event occurs for that faction. If they lose between 5 to 9, a major negative impact occurs. 0 to -5 is a minor negative event. 1 point to 5 points that they've gained is a minor positive. 5 to 9 points is a major positive, while greater than 10 points or more is a wondrous event that will occur. polls and community input will decide what these events will be. So it's not just me deciding what will happen to the factions based on the number of points they've accrued through a year, but we will get community input to determine how the year has affected each of the factions. What games will we play? So the first game is Mage Knight 1.0. 2.0 is welcome, but I will primarily be playing 1.0 in my solo. Mage Knight Dungeons as well is another game that I'll be solo playing. For bigger battles, I'll be using the OPR Age of Fantasy. These battles will count as 1,000 point games as they will involve a large number of models. Not just the game systems, any other user is open to play other game systems as well. The only rule is that we will be using Mage Knight models. So how to participate? Join the Mage Knight Facebook group and keep up with the posts or on the Discord as well. You can also play Mage Knight games and dungeon adventures. Send pictures and the results to myself, and those will go into the tabulation to determine what happens with the faction. More is to come. I will begin playing my first scenario in the first week of July. For now, thank you very much.